I never expected to fall in love with my best friend. But life has a way of surprising you when you least expect it, especially in matters of the heart. Rafael and I had been friends since college, bonding over late-night study sessions and our shared love of obscure indie films. We'd seen each other through breakups, job changes, and family drama. But nothing prepared me for the night. He showed up at my door, eyes red and puffy, clutching a half-empty bottle of wine. He cheated on me, Rafael choked out before collapsing into my arms. With his personal trainer. For months, my heart shattered for him. Rafael and David had been together for 2 years, and I'd never seen my friend happier. Or at least I thought I hadn't. Looking back, there had been signs. David's increasingly late nights at the gym, the way he'd grown distant at our monthly friend gatherings, how Rafael's usual confident smile had slowly dimmed. I guided Rafael to my couch, where he curled up like a wounded animal. "I should have known," he whispered, taking another swig from the bottle. "God, I feel so stupid." "Hey, none of that," I said firmly, taking the wine away and replacing it with a glass of water. "The only stupid person here is David. He had someone amazing and threw it away." Rafael gave a bitter laugh. "Amazing? Right. I'm 32, work too much, and apparently can't even keep a boyfriend interested." "Stop it." I sat beside him, close enough that our shoulders touched. "You're successful, thoughtful, and anyone would be lucky to have you. David's an idiot who doesn't deserve another second of your time." He leaned his head against my shoulder, and I caught the familiar scent of his sandalwood shampoo. "Thanks, Nico. I don't know what I'd do without you." That night, Rafael slept in my guest room. I lay awake in my own bed, listening to the occasional muffled sob through the wall, fighting the urge to go comfort him. I'd always been protective of Rafael, but this felt different. Seeing him hurt like this awakened something fierce in my chest. The next few weeks fell into a pattern. Rafael threw himself into work during the day, but most evenings he'd end up at my place. I watched him slowly begin to heal, like a flower turning back toward the sun after a storm. "I think I'm ready to start packing up his stuff," Rafael announced one night, pushing around the last few bites of the stir-fry we'd made. Would you help me?" "Of course," I said, perhaps too quickly. "Whatever you need." The following Saturday, we tackled Rafael's apartment. Each of David's belongings we boxed up felt like exorcising a ghost. Rafael handled most of it well until we reached the bedroom closet. He pulled out a blue sweater and froze. "I gave him this for Christmas," he said softly. "He wore it on our last date before I found out." Without thinking, I wrapped my arms around him from behind. Rafael stiffened for a moment, then relaxed into my embrace. We stood there, silent, until his breathing steadied. "Sorry," he mumbled, wiping his eyes. "I don't know why I'm still letting him affect me like this." I turned him to face me, hands on his shoulders. "Never apologize for feeling things deeply. It's one of the things I caught myself. One of the things that makes you who you are." Something shifted in Rafael's expression. His eyes searched mine, and for a moment, the air seemed to crackle between us. Then he stepped back, clearing his throat. "We should finish up here," he said. "Want to grab lunch after?" As spring turned to summer, our friendship deepened in ways I hadn't expected. Rafael started joining me for my morning runs in the park. I accompanied him to art galleries, where he'd share his passionate knowledge about various pieces. We developed inside jokes, subtle glances that could make the other laugh without a word. I found myself noticing things I'd somehow missed in our years of friendship. His handsome features, how he absently ran his fingers through his hair when deep in thought, the gentle strength in his hands when he helped me move furniture. One evening, we were sprawled on my balcony, sharing a bottle of wine and watching the sunset. Rafael had been quiet, contemplative. "I need to tell you something," he said finally. "These past few months, you've been incredible. More than a friend. You helped me remember who I am without David." My heart raced. "That's what friends are for." Rafael set down his wine glass. "Nico, I think we both know it's more than that." The moment hung between us, delicate as spun glass. I thought about all the reasons this could go wrong. Our friendship, the timing, the risk. But then I looked at Rafael, bathed in the golden light of sunset. and none of those reasons seemed to matter. How long have you known? I asked softly. About my feelings? Or about yours? A small smile played on his lips. I started suspecting both around the time we began our evening talks. You'd listen to me for hours, never judging, just being there. I smiled, remembering all those nights. Those talks meant everything to me, too. Rafael's hand found mine smiling. We sat in comfortable silence, watching the sky paint itself in shades of pink and gold. His hand felt right in mine like a puzzle piece finally finding its home. I'm scared, Rafael admitted quietly. Not of you, never of you, but of feeling this much again. I squeezed his hand gently. We don't have to define anything right now. We can just be. Just be, he repeated, smiling. I like that. We stayed on the balcony until the stars came out, talking about everything and nothing. Rafael told me about his childhood dream of becoming an astronomer, pointing out constellations and sharing their stories. I listened, mesmerized more by the passion in his voice than the stars themselves. You know what's funny? He said, wrapping my jacket tighter around his shoulders. He always got cold easily. When I was with David, I stopped talking about the stars. He used to say it was boring. Nothing about you is boring, I said firmly. I could listen to you talk about celestial bodies all night. He laughed. Careful what you wish for. I have very strong opinions about Pluto's planetary status. The next few weeks brought subtle but meaningful changes. One Sunday morning, we went to our favorite coffee shop. The barista, who knew our usual orders by heart, looked between us with a knowing smile. You two finally figured it out, huh? She asked as she handed us our drinks. Rafael blushed, and I felt my own cheeks warm. We hadn't told anyone yet, wanting to protect this delicate new thing growing between us. But somehow, people could tell. Maybe it was in the way we orbited each other now, like binary stars caught in each other's gravity. We're taking it slow, Rafael explained later as we walked through the park. But I think this could be something really special. I stopped walking and turned to face him. It already is. The look in his eyes at that moment, tender, vulnerable, full of hope, made my heart skip. We didn't need grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Our love was growing in the quiet spaces, shared looks across crowded rooms, late-night conversations about our fears and dreams, the way he'd started leaving his favorite sweater at my place, just in case. One evening, I came home to find Rafael had let himself in with the spare key I'd given him for emergencies. He'd covered my living room in fairy lights and laid out a picnic on the floor, complete with all my favorite foods. What's all this? I asked, amazed. I wanted to do something special, he said, suddenly shy. To thank you for being so patient with me, for giving me time to heal. He gestured around, everything. We sat on the blanket he'd spread out, eating Thai food from our favorite takeout place, and sharing stories we somehow still hadn't told each other. As the night grew later, Rafael rested his head on my shoulder. I think I'm falling in love with you, he whispered. And for the first time in my life, that doesn't scare me. I wrapped my arm around him, pulling him closer. I'm already there, I admitted. Have been for a while now. We didn't need more than that. No grand gestures, no desperate declarations. Just the quiet certainty that what we had was real and true and worth protecting. The next morning, I woke up to find Rafael making coffee in my kitchen, wearing my old university sweatshirt and humming softly to himself. He looked so at home there, like he belonged. Morning, he said, sliding a mug toward me. I was thinking maybe we could tell our friends soon? About us? I smiled, taking a sip of the perfectly made coffee. He'd somehow memorized exactly how I liked it. Yeah, I'm ready if you are. I want everyone to know how happy you make me. And that's how love sometimes happens. Not in grand gestures or dramatic moments, but in quiet mornings with coffee, in shared jokes and gentle understanding, in the courage to try again after heartbreak. Rafael and I were writing our own love story, one that began with friendship and grew into something even more beautiful. I'm ready too, I said, watching him smile over his coffee cup. Sometimes the best things in life don't need to be rushed or forced. They just need time, patience, and two hearts willing to take a chance on love.